This is your Tap Out News Hit. I'm Courtney Friel. Football legend Herschel Walker made his pro MMA debut over the weekend and was able to finish off Greg Nagy in the third round with ground and pound at Strikeforce's Sunrise, Florida event that also saw Nick Diaz newly crowned as the welterweight champion. Diaz defeated highly touted Marius Zaromskis with his relentless stand-up, and female champ Chris Cyborg defended her title against a game Marloes Conan on a night that also saw Jets coach Rex Ryan flip the bird to a few Dolphins fans. That gesture cost the rookie coach 50 G's, or the same amount of money Strikeforce newcomer Bobby Lashley took home for pounding an out-of-shape Wes Sims. Between Sims, Walker, and Ryan, there were nearly as many NFL players at the fight as fighters. Of course, Miami is the home of the Super Bowl this weekend, but that's not the only event that will keep Vegas odds makers busy. UFC 109 will see Randy Couture face off against Mark Coleman, and we'll also see Fox Fight Game regulars Dan Miller and Hollis Gracie in the octagon. That is your Tap Out News Hit. I'm Courtney Friel, and Fox Fight Game starts right now.
I'm Dana White, the president of the UFC, and you're watching Fox Fight Game with Mike Straka.
Fox Fight Game is presented by Tap Out, an expression of combat known worldwide.
Hey, welcome to the Fox Fight Game presented by Tap Out. I'm Mike Straka. As Courtney stated, these 2 weeks, there's a lot going on in the world of MMA. Let's get right to the panel. Direct from Abu Dhabi, UFC lightweight and fight game analyst Frankie Edgar is back. How was the trip?
It was exciting, man. It was good to be out there in the Middle East, to see where I'm fighting. It was definitely a good trip.
So did you see first of all, what's the temperature like out there?
It was untypically cold for this time of year. It's pretty hot, I think, all year round. I'm assuming in April it's going to be pretty warm.
It's an outdoor fight, but I hear at night it's like 85 degrees.
Yeah, it's a desert, so it cools down a little bit. So I think it'll be a perfect fighting condition.
When's the last time you fought outside?
Somewhere in Seaside, right?
That's right. I want to see you take on the situation. Come on, yeah. Seaside Heights, Frankie Edgar versus the situation.
Right on the beach, we'll do it.
Oh, that would be so cool. You thought you had it easy with me. Yeah. Next to Frankie, the beautiful and talented Alison Haislip from G4's Attack of the Show.
Thank you.
What, no Catwoman outfit tonight?
Oh, snap. That's been a while.
Well, that's like, it's viral all over the internet.
I know. I'll never live that down.
If you want to see a really hot video, check her out in the Catwoman outfit at, what was that, Comic-Con?
Comic-Con 2 years ago.
Swing batter. Very cool. Last but not least, well, not really last because we got somebody in Burr, but Ring of Combat's Chris Ligori taking on Gideon Ray for the title February 19th at the Trop in Atlantic City. Chris, Lou Negli is coming on the show next week.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Chris Ligori, if you guys watch Fox Fight Game, also is the guy who beat me up with Frankie Edgar.
Oh, you showed that footage, did you?
Of course we did.
Not bad.
And on the bird, Josh Gross from SI.com. What's up, Josh, baby?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
What's the weather like in L.A.?
It's nice, It's actually good. When I left, I was in Miami for a week and it was raining, but I come back, it's nice and sunny. I'm happy.
So funny. All right, let's talk Strikeforce. Nick Diaz, Herschel Walker, Bobby Lashley, Chris Cyborg, Frankie Edgar. Did you watch any of the fights?
I caught some of them not live. Caught some on computer. I don't have Showtime, unfortunately.
Josh, we were there, man. Herschel Walker looked great physically. Obviously not so great as a fighter, but what do we expect? We didn't expect him to be awesome, did we?
No, I don't know what the expectation for a lot of people was. For me, he was a guy making his MMA debut. It was the novelty of the NFL. But the fact is he's 47. Yeah, he's in tremendous shape, but this is not someone who's going to be a champion in mixed martial arts. But you give him credit for stepping in there. I think he did what a lot of us don't have the guts to do, really.
Alison, 47 years old, and he's a great athlete, though. You can't take that away from him, right?
No, not at all. I mean, it's interesting that we're seeing this trend of ex-pro athletes coming into MMA. I don't know if it's going to continue. I'm interested to see how they pan out, but it's nice to see them in there.
Hey, Ligori, fair. I think very fair of Scott Coker to put him against Nagy, who's only 1-1. I'm not taking anything away from Nagy, but at least he didn't put him up against somebody like Lashley who could really destroy him. Don't you think?
Of course. I mean, I think it was good. It's good to watch. It was good, like you said, like a little sideshow there. The only thing I really don't agree with is kind of like these guys, they retire from what they say real sports, and then they could pick this up as if it's golf or something like that. Like, these are real athletes, and you could put these guys, against somebody, a real world-class fighter, and show that, we're real athletes too. You know what I mean?
Well, Frankie, we're talking about that. Bobby Lashley also on the card, and he made $50 grand, probably more money than he made more than Zaromskis made. Not more than Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz made $100,000, but no win bonus for Nick. But, you know, Bobby Lashley's a guy who wrestles. You know, he's on TNA, and I had a chance to interview Lashley. Really, really nice guy, very smart, very intelligent, great wrestler, as you know, Olympic alternate. Well, probably would have been an Olympic champion if he hadn't hurt his knee. But my point is, if a lot of people criticize him for being a wrestler, you know, do you think that's a fair criticism? Is it the same as maybe Rampage doing a movie?
Yeah, it's just a side gig. It's like, you know, me doing this, being a fight analyst. You know, it's his outlet to make some extra money. Can't blame him for that.
You don't blame him for that, right?
No.
Ligori, do you blame him for making extra money? I mean, you're a fighter too.
No, absolutely not. I'm not, you know, if he could do both of them and do them both, you know, productively, I don't see why not. You know.
All right, Josh Gross. You know, you out there in La La Land. What did you think of Bobby Lashley's performance?
Well, I don't know what you could measure it against, really. He didn't fight anybody that was going to test him. Wes Sims was terribly out of shape and really wasn't serious in the last year in terms of training. But I'd like to see him step up so we have a real idea of him. Clearly, he's a great athlete and a physical presence, but I'm not sure that we know much about what kind of fighter he is at this point.
I did see him fight Bob Sapp over at Ultimate Chaos in Biloxi, Mississippi. Do you remember that fight?
Yeah, again, I mean, what do you really learn against Bob Sapp?
But Bob Sapp, he got hit once and he went down and he was like, "Oh, that's it, I hurt my eye, that was it." It was kind of funny. Bob's going to beat me up now.
Funny for everybody but Bob, I guess.
Hey, Josh, did you see on MMA Junkie that Mo Lawal wants to beat me up?
I didn't know that, Mike. No,
Yeah,
what'd you do?
Tell him to get in line, right?
Yeah, get in line, Mo. Get in line. In fact, there's about 20 people here that want to beat me up. Crazy. Nick Diaz, Frankie Edgar, looked amazing. I mean, this kid is just a tremendous, tremendous fighter. And you don't really see him use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He stands up, he does this, bam, bam. I don't get it.
Yeah, he's well-rounded. He can do it all. You know, he's putting people away on his feet, and he doesn't have to, you know, test his, BJJ skills, which is, you know, high class as well. I just think his last fights, you know, people are surprised with it. I'm not really surprised with it. He's been, you know, on a tear as of late. I kind of expected that.
And, you know, he calls out George St. Pierre, who was cage side at Strikeforce in Miami. So big shout out to George. But can you believe he's calling out George St. Pierre? That fight will never happen, obviously.
No, you know, everybody in the sport wants to test himself against the best. George St. Pierre's the best, and Nick Diaz thinks he can beat him. You know, it's just natural. You know, every fighter wants to test themselves.
That's why you want to fight the situation, right?
The situation's dead.
The Sitch. Allie, do you watch that show, Jersey Shore?
Oh yeah, I have watched the entire season actually.
She pre-ordered the DVD.
The uncensored DVD. Yeah, it's an interesting depiction of my home state of New Jersey.
Yeah, where are you from in Jersey?
I'm from Hunterdon County, which is like West Jersey near Pennsylvania. It's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, near Tranquility and Blairstown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
nowhere near the Jersey Shore.
Do they have internet out there yet?
You know, I think we just got it a couple years ago. Yeah.
The World Wide Web, you know?
Right? I know.
Catch me on the World Wide Web. All right, we're going to talk Randy Couture versus Mark Coleman, UFC 109 in round 2. Stand by.